first week of flowering, when you're using the natural light cycle, is going to be the last week of July. As you can see, you're looking for an EC range between 2.5 and 3.0, or a parts per million between 750 and 2100. Big Bloom, you'll be giving a rate at 3 teaspoons per gallon. Grow Big, you'll be giving a rate at 2 teaspoons per gallon. Tiger Bloom, which is a new one right here, you'll be giving a rate at 2 teaspoons per gallon. If you're using their additives and you've incorporated a foliar spray program, you'll be using Flower Kiss at a rate at 2 teaspoons per gallon. Boomerang at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. Micro Brew at a rate of a half teaspoon per gallon. Kelp Me, Kelp You at a half a teaspoon per gallon. Open Sesame at a quarter teaspoon per gallon. Second week into flowering, you're looking for an EC range of 2.8 to 3.0, a parts per million of 1960 to 2100. You'll be using Big Bloom, Grow Big, and Tiger Bloom at the same rate as before. You'll be using Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon, Grow Big at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Tiger Bloom at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. If you're using their additives, you'll be using Flower Kiss in your foliar spray program at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Boomerang at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. You'll be using Kangaroo this week at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. You will not be using Micro Broom or Holy Mackerel. And you'll be using Kelp Me, Kelp You at a rate of half teaspoon per gallon. And you'll be using Open Sesame at a rate of a quarter teaspoon per gallon. Third week into flowering, your EC range will be between 2.8 and 3.0. Your parts per million will be between 1960 and 2100 parts per million. You'll be giving Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon, Grow Big at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Tiger Bloom at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Flower Kiss in your foliar spray program at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Boomerang at 1 teaspoon per gallon, Micro Brew now at a half teaspoon per gallon, Kelp Me, Kelp You at a half teaspoon per gallon, and you'll be using Bisou Blooms this week at a rate of a quarter teaspoon per gallon. At the end of this week or at the beginning of your fourth week, you're going to want to make sure to use the sledgehammer to flush and get all those salts out of your growing environment. Your fourth week in flowering, you're looking at an EC rate of 3 to 3.3, or parts per million between 2100 to 2310 parts per million. You'll be using Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon, Grow Big at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Tiger Bloom at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon, Flower Kiss in your foliar spray program at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You'll be using Kelp Me, Kelp You at a rate of a half teaspoon per gallon. You'll begin to use the Bembe at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon. And you'll be using Bisou Blooms for 1 more week at a rate of a quarter teaspoon per gallon. Start of the 5th week into flowering, which is actually one of the most important weeks into flowering because it is the start of your plant really putting on its yield. Between the week 5, 6, and 7, it's going to be putting on its most amount of yield. So if your plants aren't healthy going into this week, they will not reach their full potential in terpene profile or in density. So if you're wondering why your plants don't harden up, there is a chance you might have a strain that's fluffy, but most likely it's because they were battling some type of sickness or stress weeks 2, 3, and 4 as they went into weeks 5, 6, and 7 and were never able to recover fully. Week 5, as you can see, your EC is going to begin to drop. You're looking for a range of 2.5 to 2.8 or a parts per million between 750 to 960. You'll still be giving Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon. You're going to decrease Grow Big using it at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. Tiger Bloom, you'll use it at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You will continue with your foliar spray program at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You'll use Micro Brew at a rate of a half teaspoon per gallon. Kelp Me, Kelp You at a rate of a quarter teaspoon per gallon. your Bembe at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon, and you'll begin to use Cha Ching at a rate of 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. Week 6, you're looking for an EC rate between 2 and 2.2, or parts per million of 1400 to 1540. You'll use Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon. You're going to cut off Grow Big because you really don't want to be giving any more nitrogen at this point. You don't want to be producing foliage. You want to be producing flower development. Just put all of the attention there. So you'll be using Tiger Bloom at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You will continue with the foliar spray program using Flower Kiss at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You'll use Bembe at 3 teaspoons per gallon and Cha Ching at 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. So at the end of the 6th week or the beginning of the 7th week, you're going to want to once again flush your plants using Sledgehammer at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. Your EC rate will continue to decrease. You'll be looking for a rate between 1.4 and 1.7, or parts per million between 980 and 1190. You'll use Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon, Tiger Bloom at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. You'll continue the foliar spray program using Flower Kiss at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. You'll use Bembe at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon and Cha Ching at a rate of 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. At this point, it doesn't matter if you have a 6-week flowering strain, a 7-week, an 8-week, a 9-week, a 10-week, 11-week, even a 12-week flowering strain. Your nutrient feed is going to stay between these two columns, especially if you have a flowering strain that goes past 10 weeks. Some strains do finish out as early as 7 weeks, so you might want to decrease. You might want to cut off a center week right here if you do have a strain that finishes off in the 7th week. But although for just about everyone, your strains will be finishing out between week 8 and week 9. So you're going to want to stick to this program if you are using the Fox Farm line only in your grow schedule this year. Okay, so for the last and final week, your EC rate will be between 1.4 and 1.7. Your parts per million will be between 980 and 1190. You'll be using Big Bloom at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon. You'll be using Tiger Bloom at a rate of 1 teaspoon per gallon. You'll continue with the foliar spray program using the Flower Kiss at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon. You'll use Bembe at a rate of 3 teaspoons per gallon and Cha Ching at 1/4 teaspoon per gallon. On the last and final week, you're going to want to make sure to use the Sledgehammer at a rate of 2 teaspoons per gallon to flush your plants and get any of these excess salts out. By doing that, you're going to have a much higher quality experience with your end product. One additional thing to remember is you'll be adding in all of these nutrients into the same gallons. So it doesn't matter what is in this column, except for the foliar spray. The rest of them will be added into the same gallon. And remember, you always want to go from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. So you're always going to want to take your nutrients and mix it into the gallon of water. You're not going to want to take your nutrients all together, mix it together, and then put it in your water. That will cause your salts to combine together. So for one last additional example, it doesn't matter whether you're week 1, 2, 3, 5, or 8, all these things will go into the same gallon, except for your Flower Kiss, which is a foliar spray program. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have a great grow, everyone.
Wait! What are you buying retail for? Become a member and go direct to the manufacturer as low as $50 a month. Learn more below.